This is your Barbados Today morning news update for Wednesday, July 24th, 2019. Thanks for joining us. I'm Carol Williams. Government is being taken to court over its debt restructuring program. Former school teacher Alvin Foster heads to the High Court today asking for an injunction to reverse the decision to change the terms of his $250,000 Treasury note investment. The St. Silas Heights St. James residence is claiming that Prime Minister and Minister of Finance Mia Mottley overstepped her authority when she, along with the government, unilaterally changed the terms of his contract to his detriment. Emmanuel Joseph picks up that story.
In a 12-page claim document dated May 13, 2019 that calls for a judicial review of the decision, the 64-year-old pensioner has also included in that suit the Accountant General Dane Coppin as the first respondent, the Central Bank of Barbados as the second, and the Attorney General Dale Marshall as the fourth. He has submitted 12 points of relief which he wants High Court Justice Cecil McCarthy to grant him. The pensioner stated through his attorney Gyson Mears he wanted an injunction to prohibit the respondents from taking any action that would breach the contract between the applicant and the government of Barbados with respect to the treasury notes purchased by the applicant, and if such action has already been taken, a halt and reversal of that action. Foster is also requesting unspecified damages from the four respondents and a declaration by the court that the decision of the Minister of Finance and the government to breach the obligations under the agreement dated December 5, 2017 was contrary to law and abuse of power and an unreasonable or irregular or improper exercise of discretion. He contends that the court should also rule that the same decision was an unlawful deprivation of his property and that the action was ultra vires. Justice McCarthy is also being urged to declare that Foster had a legitimate expectation that the minister and the government would not alter or vary the terms of his investment unilaterally and without his consent or approval. The retired school teacher also wants the High Court to make a declaration on how he was affected by the voting system which the government had introduced to determine the level of support for the changes it had proposed.
On another issue, the government is facing challenges over the compulsory acquisition of several parcels of land around the country. The disclosure comes from Minister of Lands George Payne, who says some property owners dating back to the former administration are refusing to accept what's being offered in compensation. He describes some of the demands as exorbitant. As he wrapped up debate in the House yesterday on the compulsory acquisition of lands at Bay Street for the construction of the Hyatt Hotel, Minister Payne assured that funds are available to compensate these property owners.
This government has taken the decision of ensuring that the provision for the funds in terms of Section 11 of the Acquisition Act, those funds are made available. And in this particular case, the amounts which we consider to be adequate in accordance with that section has been made available. So that if the person who is entitled in this particular case agree to that sum in accordance with the Act, government would be able to effect payment immediately. And when I say immediately, we have the funds, but it may very well be that the individual or the individuals might tend to feel that they are entitled. In some cases, they want 10 times as much because it is government.
Still with Parliament, the House has extended the life of the Joint Select Committee on the Integrity in Public Life Bill. The request for the extension was made during yesterday's sitting by Attorney General Dale Marshall ahead of the expected summer recess. Minister Marshall told the House that the drafting of the bill is almost complete and it must go back to the committee for final approval.
Taking into account, sir, the strong possibility of a recess for the summer of this chamber, I'm unable to say exactly what day that is likely to be, so I'm asking the chamber to agree to the extension of the life of the committee until the 31st of October. I fully anticipate that at no later than either the first or second sitting after we resume, we'd be able to lay it, but I'd rather ask for a longer period and come in early than to run myself into difficulty.
Wrong move. That's the opinion of attorney at law Ernest Jackman to the decision by an 82-year-old Gemswick St. Philip man to block road access to his neighbours. The man claims the road is part of his property, but the attorney tells Barbados Today the siblings have the right of access if their family has been using it for decades.
They would acquire an easement or right of passage over the area of land that they were going back and forth over to get from the road to their premises. That is what the law would provide them with. And the law would provide them with that because if you have land and I start to cross it, I have to stop you from crossing. And the law says that if you know I'm crossing it and you don't stop me from crossing it for a period of time, after a period of time I will acquire the right to use it, and you can't. I would have taken away from you your rights over it, and acquire the right to travel across it.
The Town and Culture Department is now investigating the matter after 68-year-old Audrey Darlington filed a complaint at the office yesterday.
For say that, there's nobody fighting for land, so you're fighting for land. Life is too short. Life is definitely too short. Today you're here, tomorrow you're gone. So I don't know the reason why he catching, and his age, 80 somebody. But so much land he wants.
So would you say you're prepared to go do all this legally?
All out. I endeavor to go all out. All out. If it costs me what I got, all out. You know why nobody could get into me, and from the time my barn, that was the road. My dad gone, and that was the road that he used to carry to and from.
There's regional and international news after this short break.
Barbados Today, news you can trust.
To the region now, the head of Bahamas Airlines Sky Bahamas is claiming that the airline is in crisis. This comes after the company's operational certificates weren't renewed. The CEO is now claiming political sabotage, as we hear in this report from Eyewitness News.
CEO of Sky Bahamas, Randy Butler, says the airline is being sabotaged, leading to the grounding of flights for 2 weeks now. The company has been battling a discontinuance order issued by the Bahamas Civil Aviation Authority, which now prohibits the Bahamian-owned carrier to operate commercially. Butler says his airline's air operator certificate expired on June 29th. However, he explained that it is normal protocol for the previous license to remain in effect until a new one is issued. It's a blow that he says hits hard, as he says he was called to a meeting on July 9th at the BCAA where the regulator presented what he called bogus findings from an inspection performed by a former shareholder.
An inspector there who used to be a partnership with Sky Bahamas, and he filed an affidavit in the courts saying that the former partner, Mr. Turnquest, stole the shares of his thing. And then you bring him here to say do inspections, and we wrote them and told them about his bias.
Butler also believes that because of his prior political affiliations, victimization has set in. Not able to earn revenue, Butler says that this is a battle that he is going to continue to fight to ensure the well-being of his company.
And finally, U.S. President Donald Trump has filed a suit in federal court in Washington, D.C. to prevent the disclosure of his tax returns. He's seeking a series of injunctions and restraining orders from the court. CNN explains.
They're arguing that this is nothing more than political retribution. Just some background here, Jake. Lawmakers in New York passed a law that would allow them to hand over his state tax returns, Trump's state tax returns, over to Congress. And what the lawyers are saying is essentially this violates his First Amendment protections against congressional investigations into Trump as a private citizen, and that the state tax returns won't help Congress in its stated duty of overseeing the IRS, which is why Congress says it wants his federal tax returns. But let me tell you what's really going on here. These are not new legal arguments from the Trump camp. This is Trump hitting back in a position that he feels that he's strong on.
And that's news, but for the very latest, visit our website at www.barbadostoday.pp. You can also subscribe to our e-paper, email updates, or like us on Facebook. And sign up for breaking news alerts via WhatsApp. We're also on Izumi Media in bus terminals, as well as screenplay at supermarkets and gas stations near you. You can also hear us on Mix 96.9 FM and Capital Media HD 99.3 FM. I'm Carol Williams. Have a good day.